everyone, welcome to the Pace Studio in Midtown Manhattan. Happy Friday. We are so very lucky today. Ted Leo is in the house.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much for coming by.
I feel very lucky to be here.
on your release day at that.
That's right.
The Hanged Man is out now, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started. Tell us
Okay.
about the first song you're going to play.
I'm going to play a song that I have found is a good warm-up for me for these afternoon events. And it's on the new album, but it's the oldest song that I wrote for the new album. I actually wrote it before the last album. Didn't make it to that album. I reworked it, and it made it to this album.
Funny how those things work.
Yeah. And it's called the Little Smug Supper Club. Oh, well, I heard last Wednesday you didn't even mention me. I'd rather hear insulting than ignoring me intentionally. Don't you think it's weird? Don't you see how it could hurt? To drop it like it's hot and leave it lying in the dirt. And from the field to the chafing dish, I can't wait to taste dessert. And all the kiddies at your table sipping vinegar from flutes. You tell them it's champagne and then you charge them to believe you for the sake of what they're paying. Oh, I wish that it was true, 'cause I remember heady days when they were my friends too. And if the stars are aligned, then the stars will all arrive, for you celebrated artisanal cuts of the cruelest kind of looper, local origin, provincial view of urban men. And I'll be the lamb slaughtered at the Little Smug Supper Club. All the words upon your tongue you just gave lip service to, and all the slumming, it was nothing more than fun to you. A lot of damage I've done, but I've been damaged too. And though the damage isn't done, none of it's done to you. At Thursday morning brunch, I just sat back amused but wounded too. Embarrassed as I crunched upon a carrot for an amuse-bouche. Never got your pretext for this whole rigmarole, and it's insulting to the subtext when you write it out in bold, like when I caught you at my brother's wedding, pissing in the punch bowl. And all the kiddies at your table wipe your curries on their shirts, and the stains will be reminders of how good it used to hurt. Like a vampire's kisses or a Thanksgiving cursed, like opening up a bottle and always giving you the first. And if the stars are aligned, then the stars will all arrive, for you celebrated artisanal cuts of the cruelest kind of looper, local origin, provincial view of urban men. And I'll be the lamb slaughtered. If the little smug stars are aligned, then the stars will all arrive, while you serve it up in artisanal cuts of the cruelest kind of looper, local origin, provincial view of urban women. I'll be the lamb slaughtered at the Little Smug Supper Club. 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 Thank you. Thanks.
That was the warm-up then.
That was the warm-up.
Oh, okay. So we have a lot in store for us.
Well, I kind of have to. I might not have as much in store for you. It's my warm-ups consist of getting all the cobwebs out so that I can get to the softer stuff a little more easily.
Well then.
Yeah.
So, like you kind of mentioned, this record's kind of been a long time coming. Your last solo record was 2010, Brutalist Bricks.
Mm-hmm.
You had the collaboration, The Both, with Amy Mann in 2014. That song was written and reworked and redone. Tell us kind of, in a nutshell, like what's been going on in the past decade or so.
Nutshell. What's the biggest nut? Is a Brazil nut the biggest nut?
I think so.
Okay, it'll have to be a very large Brazil nut shell then. I think, a lot's been going on. I mean, I've been working the whole time. As you mentioned, I did the whole other album cycle and writing cycle with Amy Mann as The Both. And I've also been working on a really large body of work that, while working on a home studio to actually record it in. And those two things became inextricably linked at one point. The process of writing became part of the process of recording, and vice versa. And also, like I just wasn't in a great place with my label at the time, and I had to figure out what I was doing. And I had a lot of personal stuff that we don't need to get into here on this Friday live stream. But it took a lot of time. But at a certain point, instead of me thinking of it as it taking a lot of time, I started to think of it as me taking the time, and that helped me spin it in a more positive, creative direction.
That seems way healthier.
Yeah, it took a while to get there, but
Yeah.
I got there.
Fair. Tell us about the next song you're gonna play.
So as I'm in Capo 2, I'm gonna stay there, and I'm gonna play another song off the new record that is a little bit softer, and it's called William Weld in the 21st Century. Ahem. William Weld sees the 20th century fading away in the night. The curtain fell on this old noble venture. He waits in the lane for his flight. Doesn't bend as he walks down the jetway, bag in hand. Don't pretend he won't meet profound regret there when he lands. William felt he could save his country. He gave it away without a fight. William held to his quiet dignity. Who wouldn't think to admire honor, love, and the Holy Trinity? Who wouldn't think they'd inspire? But there's a rent in the veil of the temple he can't hide, and he can't mend while they all disassemble what's inside. Under the spell of stead respectability, we're getting near to the fire. And all the bed. They ain't apologized yet for what they obeyed. They ain't apologized yet for what they obeyed. And they won't turn around. They're gonna let you down. No, they won't turn around. They're gonna let you down. Men of breeding and men of sanity, men serving men out of time. Men in need of a shaking of vanity, wander away from the crime. Thanks. Thank you.
No, thank you. You have a formidable career body of work behind you. So it's really cool to get to see you perform and hear these new songs. If I'm not mistaken, you did a lot of prep for this record and like crowdfunding by doing kind of solo acoustic shows like this in very highly specific places. What's it been like translating a lot of your, you know, fast, loud punk, older stuff to, you know, one Jumbo Gibson? Reading that right?
Well, normally when I play solo, I actually play electric.
Okay.
I very rarely play acoustic. In fact, I just got this acoustic guitar with money that I raised from my Kickstarter. Very happy to be able to put it to that. But I've been playing solo, mostly electric, for at least 20 years, and most of the stuff that I write, even the stuff that I think could rightly be described as you did as fast, loud punk stuff. It has a melodic and even sometimes like a 60s soul R&B kind of core that is usually pretty translatable to a solo performance. Not everything is. There are some songs that are definitely like rhythm section, driven, that don't quite make it to the solo set, but most of them translate okay.
How does it feel for you though? Being, the lone dude in the spotlight kind of thing with the big, acoustic guitar trying to focus on that often highlights lyrics more so than other things.
I mean, it feels good. I like it. It's I don't compare it to the band situation because it's two different things. And I actually really cherish the ability to do them both. I think that, as you said, playing solo, I think not just for the audience, but for me, it helps me focus on lyrics and my singing, actually, too. I think I've actually become a better singer over just the last few years because I've been playing mostly solo. Yeah,
totally. I guess my last question, though.
Wait, what are you saying? You're saying you didn't like my singing for the last couple of years?
I'm saying it was fucking great.
Oh, my God.
I'm saying what you said makes sense. My last kind of question, though, is things get really dark on this record. And,
pretty dark.
And that's okay. And there are moments of hope and inspiration throughout, and I think that's what makes it so great. But how has it been for you kind of balancing, addressing some of those issues, some of those parts of your past, and then just kind of saying, fuck it, let's play rock and roll?
Yeah, I mean, that's been, the interesting thing about, an interesting thing to me about, what you said earlier about being, the loud, fast punk guy is that oftentimes I think that translates for people into like pop punk, and like peppy and happy. And there's definitely some peppy stuff, and there's a lot of peppy stuff in my catalog, but almost none of it's happy. It's all pretty dark and dealing with the darkness. Like it's about dealing with darkness.
Right.
It's not dark itself necessarily, but I would go so far as to say the vast majority of my, at this point, growing to the point of being vast itself, catalog is about dealing with the darkness.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Do you ever like reach a point where you're just like, I want to ignore all of that and just like play music really loud and like ignore it though?
Sometimes as an academic exercise, I say to myself, I would like to ignore that and like just write a love song or something, because I do come back to this idea all the time that, I love a good screamy punk polemic from the Reagan era,
Yes, dude.
but like the world would be a terrible place if it didn't have, well, let's take somebody like Curtis Mayfield. I cherish his political songs, but the world is a better place for his straight love songs, So
Fair.
there's room.
Legit.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to music. Tell us about the last song you're going to play today.
So you mentioned, we talked a little bit about my collaboration with Amy Mann earlier, and I also would say that as far as my singing voice goes, I think that our collaboration actually helped me level up a little bit in that regard, because we worked really hard on getting our harmonies super tight, all the time, and it was a really good continued exercise for me of those muscles. And we're in Virgo right now. It's my birthday in a couple of days.
Happy almost birthday.
Thank you. It happens to be her birthday today, so I'm going to play one of the songs that we wrote together.
Oh, excellent.
Anytime you establish a world of your own, get thrown. Try and answer a bomb with a calm undertone. Alone. I wanted you to know that I put up a fight. Everything goes missing when they dim the lights. The catastrophic sinking of the windless kite. And even you can't help me now. You can't help me now. You can't help. Anytime you establish a need to atone, you're prone. Down the checks you can map on the seams of your own broken bones. I wanted you to know I'm not here to indict. Everything you've seen is like a second sight. We're inheriting the balance of a poor birthright. And even you can't help me now. You can't help. You can't help me now. You can't help. You wanna say that you were waiting for this, you weren't ready, yeah. And those if onlys only glow the good in front of you with regret. I wanted you to know that it was understood. I know if you could come around again, you would. I can't see you in this neighborhood. Even you can't help me now. You can't help. You can't help me now. You can't help. You can't help me now. You can't help. You can't help me now. Thanks. Should have gone to the falsetto a little earlier in that one. But I toughed it out for you.
We are all truly grateful.
Thanks.
Ted Leo, The Hangman, out now. Go buy it, everyone. You're on tour starting next week.
Yeah, we're playing New York, South Street Seaport, this Saturday the 9th, and then tour starts in earnest in Philly on the 14th and goes off and on through December.
Sounds good. All those dates are online.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. Come
you.
back anytime.
Thank you very
We
much.
mean it.
All right. Cheers.